Diane in Denmark here. At the beginning of this week I posted an old video and I showed you a very unique Danish Easter craft when I was over at Vibeka's house. I'll put a link here. Anyway, I thought today I would take you back in time to last year when I was explaining how the Danes spend Easter, what they eat, what they drink, do they go to church, what do they do. So anyway, I'll roll the video and just to tell you today it's below freezing again. We had snow this morning, the sun's beginning to come out now, but hey ho, as we say in Denmark, there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothing. So if you are planning to come and visit Denmark at Easter, make sure that you have all the different layers. Anyway, let me roll the video and I'll see you on the other side. Diane in Denmark here. Easter is upon us and I've already made videos about how we celebrate Christmas here in Denmark, how we celebrate New Year here in Denmark. So here we go for the Easter video, and you know there's going to be the usual lots of food and drink, Easter beer. Anyway, let me just move these things out the way. You may have seen about 2 weeks ago now, I think it was, I was over at Vibeka's house and we were making a very traditional Easter decoration here in Denmark, which is well, whatever you want to call it, an Easter tree. You take some kind of spring branches and we decorate them with eggs and feathers, and you've seen this little Easter tree beside my sink. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll have seen the shiny sink picture with this. And oh, hold on, here we are. Okay, we just pop that there. And as usual in Denmark, we have the candles all year round, whether it is summer or winter. There's always a bit of hygge with the candles and you know, the usual things which I'm sure you have in your part of the world, some daffodils. Anyway, what I thought we'd talk about today is what we eat in Denmark at Easter time and how the Danes celebrate Easter. So first of all, the food. The food is always a huge part of Danish traditions, and if you saw my videos for Christmas and New Year, you will know a lot of the things it's the same all year round. We have the open sandwiches, you know, smørrebrød, and I'll just show you. This is the smørrebrød that we, the rye bread that we eat, just in case you've never seen it. This is what we eat on a daily basis, you know, for our sandwiches, for taking to school or to work, and you know, you can make a sandwich out of it, 2 pieces of it. Let me just pop that there. But generally the Danes, when we have some kind of special lunch, you take 1 piece and it's an open-faced sandwich. And just like at Christmas when we have all the Christmas lunches, it will be the usual thing where it will normally be some kind of fish to start with. So that could be smoked salmon, and funnily enough, smoked salmon you always have on like a white kind of French bread, and because in Britain we would always eat smoked salmon on a dark bread. In Denmark it's the other way around. Anyway, it will normally be some kind of fish to start with. Herring, usually it's seal, that's what it's called. There's all different types of seal. You can have seal in curry sauce, you can have seal in a kind of tomato spicy sauce, but the main seal herring that we buy, we just buy the marinated herring, normally in the little bits, and you buy it in the Danish supermarket in big glass jars. I've got one downstairs. Anyway, I won't bother showing you that right now. You look on Google for herring. And how we serve it is we normally put little bits of the herring on the bread, and then we top it with an egg mayonnaise. And that's something that is really popular here. We eat that a lot. So that's what we will be having as our first thing for Easter lunch. And then you will also, generally after that, if you're at some kind of fancy do, they will give you a different plate and cutlery once you've had the first fish course, because, you know, the herring is quite strong, so you probably want to change your eating irons, you know, your cutlery and your plate, and you'll be given a fresh plate, and then you take more bread and then you will put various toppings on it. It can be rolled pork, it can be know, hot liver patty with bacon and mushrooms. It can be a chicken salad. It could be a tuna salad. I mean, it can be a potato, a sliced potato with crispy onions and remoulade sauce. Anyway, you can go and Google all the different smørrebrød that you can get. But that's what we normally do for Easter lunch, that you'll have a lot of different courses, plus you have to wash it all down with something. And if you're not drinking, you know, soda or elderflower juice is really popular here, you probably will be having a beer. Now, not just any beer, because of course at Easter, just like at Christmas, the Danes have an Easter beer. So this is one from Tuborg, and it says kule kule on the side, which just means, you know, chicken noise. Anyway, let me just open this and show you. There's a wee picture on the beer, and that's how you would actually serve it at the table. You know, I'll put the cans on the table. And you've seen me doing my errand day here before in Denmark. There is what is called pant on all bottles and cans. This one says pant A, and you pay a deposit when you buy your beer from the supermarket. Don't throw your cans away if you're new here in Denmark. Don't throw your cans away, because you take them back to the supermarket and they go into the special machine, and it, you know, it spits out a little receipt at the end, and you get your money back. So anyway, Easter beer, and the Easter beer is generally kind of more darker, not quite an ale, but not a lager type. It's slightly darker. I would open one right now, but I think it's a bit early in the morning for that. And the other thing that you might be drinking along with your Easter beer, your Påske, as it's called. And say Påske is the word for Easter. And brug just means to brew. So it's Easter brew. You might have a little glass with some snaps in it, but just be aware, you know, snaps at lunchtime, maybe one, but if you're new to snaps, do not drink more than that, because you will be asleep on the sofa by the end of the afternoon. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So I generally don't drink snaps anymore at lunchtime, because it makes it a bit difficult for the washing up afterwards. So I normally just stick to the Easter beer, or as I said, elderflower juice is very popular in Denmark. And one of the other things, if you are new to Denmark and maybe find some strange things at the supermarket, you're not quite sure what they are, here's something that also is served a lot. Now, obviously, making this kind of thing yourself is always better, and homemade is always best. But cut yourself some slack. Remember, everything in moderation. Just because there's a big kind of event coming up, or, you know, whether it's Easter, Christmas, or having a birthday party, you don't need to do all yourself. Okay, where we're too perfectionist about things. You know, shop bought, sometimes it's fine. So anyway, and this is just to show you. Now, these are called, as you can see, cheerleader. And this is also a very common Danish dish that you would have. You can have it in the evening as your main course, just, you know, Monday to Friday. It's little pastry cases. And in fact, in Danish shops, you can even buy a special holder to kind of pick them up. What you would normally do with these is you buy them in a, like this from the supermarket, and then you heat them up in the oven. They only take, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. It's a pastry case, so you don't want to burn them. You're just reheating them. And the best way to do them is do them bottoms up. So there's the place where you put in the filling. When you're putting them in the oven, my Danish father-in-law always taught me to do it with the bottoms up in the air. Just a little tip for you. That way they don't get burnt, but they do get warmed through sufficiently. And you can see on the side of here, here's one of those serving suggestions. Inside, what we normally would put in is a mix. Now this, as you can see, is the filling for the tarts. Tarts in Danish are called cheerleader. And this one is one of the classic ones with chicken, melkuling, and it says kyllingekød i klassisk lyssauce med ærter og gulerødder. So what I would generally do is I would make this filling myself. It's like a bog standard bechamel sauce with pieces of chicken meat and peas and carrots, little tiny cubed carrots. You see that there? So that is also another thing that you might see, you know, on the Easter table. And a really good old-fashioned thing, tarteletter. We don't eat enough of them actually, so we're going to be eating them very soon. And as I've told you before, the Danes are not big on having a dessert. When you're having smørrebrød, this type of lunch, there generally will not be a dessert, but there will be something sweet to eat at the end. And as it's Easter, you might see one of these eggs. Now, you saw me when I was over at Vibike's house making the little Easter tree, remember those, and we were also doing secret snowdrop lighters, and we're eating some of these. Now, these are, I'm just going to show you, I'll bite into one just so you can see. These are marzipan eggs, then there's chocolate, and then there is hard candy on the outside. Let me just try one. Crunch, and be careful with your teeth. Okay. Hold on a wee minute. There we go. I just had to have a wee glass of water. They're very rich. They're very good. They're really extremely good. So marzipan eggs, we eat a lot of those at Easter. And that would be what you would generally get at an Easter lunch. Of course, we will also be eating a lot of lamb. That would generally be more for an Easter dinner. And that's what we'll be having on Sunday. You know, some kind of crown of lamb, roast lamb, lamb chops. The Danes going for lamb, obviously, at Easter. So that's what we'll be eating. Now, here comes the thing about what happens at Easter. Thursday, what do you call it, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. Those are all days which are official holidays in Denmark, and everything will be closed. It's an even bigger holiday than Christmas in that the shops are closed for 4 days. So Wednesday is one of the biggest, the Wednesday before Easter is one of the biggest and the busiest shopping days in Denmark, because everybody is out buying Easter eggs, getting in the beer, you know, buying Easter decorations. So there's really a lot going on in Denmark on the Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday and the Sunday and the Monday, all government offices will be closed. You know, the commune will be closed, libraries will be closed, you know, obviously all schools, creche, all those type of things will be closed. Many museums will be closed, buses and trains will be running to holiday service. So actually, if you're thinking of coming to Denmark for Easter, it's really one of, I would say, one of the worst times of the year to visit, because even, well, also weather-wise, you never know what it's going to be like. This morning we actually had a bit of snow, and we are coming up. There might be some rain and sleet this afternoon. So weather-wise, it's not always great. And also many restaurants and museums close down for those 4 days. So really, you've got to be organised for Easter in Denmark. Interestingly enough, Sweden, it's business as normal on Thursday. They're closed on Friday, Sunday and Monday. But it's one of the quietest times of the year for the Danes, in that everything stops. It's much quieter than at Christmas. Now, the shops will be open again on Saturday, but you know, you don't want to be caught out like Wednesday night and suddenly the shops are closed and you haven't got, you know, food for your celebrations. There are a few stores open, but very, very few. I mean, the Danes really take Easter seriously. So next up, what do the Danes do at Easter? Well, they don't really go to church. And I've said this before, the Danes are not big churchgoers. And yet the church and the state in Denmark are linked. You know, we have the ministry for the church. All Danes, we all pay church tax. It's a very tiny amount, but we all pay a church tax. You can opt out if you don't want to pay your church tax, but then you can't really expect to go along and get married or have your kids christened or, you know. So everybody pays a very tiny percent of church tax. But the Danes don't generally, they're not big churchgoers. The other thing is, of course, that in Denmark and most of Europe, we don't discuss religion and we don't discuss politics. It's a very private thing, so never talk politics or religion with the Danes or the Brits for that matter. What was I going to say? I've lost the plot. Oh yeah, I was going to say about the church. So the church is financed from taxes. And the upkeep of the church is financed by taxes. So when there's a collection at the end of the church ceremony, it's never for, you know, the church roof or the heating, because that is paid for by the state from the tax that we all pay. So if there's any kind of collection, it's always to help some kind of charity or people in need. And the Danish church is the Protestant church. It's in fact, it's the same, it links directly to the Scottish Protestant church, you know, the Martin Luther branch. So it's not like the English Anglican church, it's a Protestant church, just like Church of Scotland, where I come from. It's exactly the same church. So the Danes don't go to a lot of Easter services, they don't go to church a lot in general. As opposed to at Christmas, when I told you, you know, you've got to get there half an hour before the church service starts and they're bringing in extra chairs to put at the end of the pews, because Danes, if there's one time that the Danes go to church, it's on the 24th of December, but not at Easter. So what will the Danes be doing? Because, you know, they've got Thursday off, they've got Friday off, probably Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So that's 5 days. Well, most of them will be doing some type of DIY, you know, do it yourself. All the gardening stores and the DIY stores in IKEA, they are really, really busy on Wednesday because everybody's out buying plants and, you know, we've just changed the clock, so, you know, we're bringing out the garden furniture. And a lot of Danes have either an allotment garden, people who are living in the city centre of Copenhagen. Remember, there's about 1 million in over 1 million in the greater Copenhagen area. So Copenhagen is a big city. Very small apartments, but they often kind of move out when the summer months come, and they have an allotment garden where sometimes they can spend the night, or they have some type of summer house. The summer house could be on the other side of Denmark, it could be very close to them, or it could be in Sweden, like the one that we have. Well, we have a summer house, a summer cabin, a weekend cabin, which is on the other side of the bridge. You know, if you know the TV series The Bridge. We are half an hour from the bridge from where we live here in Copenhagen. And once we're on the bridge, it takes half an hour to get to our summer cabin, which is on the southernmost coast of Sweden. So for us, it takes us an hour to get there. So as I said, most Danes will be working in their garden, doing a spot of DIY. There will be away visiting family on the other side of Denmark, probably. And basically just getting ready for the spring. That's mainly what the Danes do at Easter. Not so much church services. And as I said, most things are closed, so they are not kind of going out and doing day trips and stuff like that. Most things in Denmark are closed. So anyway, let me just check. I had a wee list because there were so many things to cover today, but I think I got them all. Yeah. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them down below. As I've said last couple of videos, the kids are off on holiday this week. The Danish kids' school's holiday, it starts in the run-up to Easter. They are off on Easter Monday and then they're back to school. So my kids are at home at the moment. That's why I'm kind of posting a bit, not my usual schedule of videos this week. But anyway, I hope that's given you a little insight as to how we do Hygge Easter here in Denmark. Remember, get those candles going. If you can get some of those eggs, try those. And if you're really adventurous, maybe try some of the herring, especially the one topped with egg mayonnaise. That's my favourite. Anyway, I'm going to keep it short here now because I'm just coming up for 20 minutes. But anyway, Diane in Denmark wishing you a very go Påske, as they say in Danish, God Påske. And God in Danish means good, so it's go Påske. And I shall see you soon. Live long and prosper. May the Danish Hygge be with you, and bye for now.